Hello. How are you all this evening? I hope everyone is doing well. Hello to those who come in on the replay crew. You are very important to us and we love you very much. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. Subscribe if you haven't. Share if you have time. I would appreciate that. I'm so excited. We have a very, very, very special guest tonight. He is one of my very good friends. And I just adore him to pieces. His name is Terry Maggert. He writes all sorts of things, but he's most famously known for his science fiction writing, which kicks ass. It truly does. So we're going to bring him in. Hello, Terry. I just realized I was muted.
I was watching a guy downshift in a 6.
That was for you.
Oh,
that was for you. Yeah, I have lots of things for Terry tonight that he doesn't even know about. Oh, hey Black Eyes, hey Aurora, hey Angie G. How is everybody doing today? Show of hands for those who wrote today, please. You know the routine. You know how it goes. I did. I wrote today. I'm so proud of myself. Yay, Terry! This is for all of you who got to write today, even if it was just a few words. See? Y'all are just awesome. Oh, good for you, Aurora. Well, Bobby, you do have a day job, darling. So, you can spit with me tomorrow night, maybe. Up front, there's probably not going to be a Friday Night Live because we leave for Delaware Friday morning. I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We're taking my dad out. Everybody say hi to Terry. He's just one hell of a nice guy. But we're going to Delaware, taking my dad out, and we're going to spend some time with my big little brother, Danny, and I'm really excited about that. So at any time tonight, if you have any questions, you know the routine, just put them in the chat. Remember, there is a slight delay in the chat. Angie's waving, Aurora's saying hi, Bobby's saying hi, everybody's saying hi. Black old guy, he's Black Eyes old God damn. Susan! Black Eyes old guy! God! I don't even know why people are here. I don't. They just come every week. I think it's just to watch me do bloopers. I think Black Ice is a newer author, and we met through the crime channels that I like to watch, my YouTube crime shows. So, yeah. So Terry, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you everyone for being here. I'm Terry Maggert. I write. I've written 64 novels as of right now, and a bunch of short fiction. And I got serious about 10 years ago. Susan and I have known each other for a long time, but I really got serious around the year 2013, where I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I've been a full-time author for the past 5 years, and things kind of got completely crazy in 2021. So
you had an awesome year in 2021, didn't you?
Yeah, yes, we did. Daddy will be getting the medium frosty from this point forward. So, yeah.
Oh, well, Terry's a little shy. No, he's not. I'm just being silly. But I put together a little something for Terry earlier today. And he hasn't seen it. He doesn't know about it. But I'd like to do this for my special guests. So sit back and watch.
you know what that last picture was? Is
You wearing a tuxedo apron.
but our bestie, she said, "Hey, I'm gonna take some product pictures for Amazon, and I've got this men's apron. Will you do it?" And I also discovered in that picture that no matter what, I don't have a neck, and there is no angle in which I have a neck. So.
Yeah, same here. I used to have a very long, slender neck. That's why my nickname in high school was Goose.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes, but that was back when I still had collagen and hope. And a butt so tight you could bounce a quarter off of it, 1,000 light years ago. Black Eye Soul Guy says my favorite reading genre. I'll definitely be reading you very soon, Terry. You can go check him out on Amazon. Tell everybody where all of your books are.
We're huge in audio. We're huge in Audible too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big.
Very.
We were early adopters. Because I'm a consumer of audiobooks, and so I've been an advocate for audio since day one. So TerryMaggert.com, mostly Amazon. So.
Yes, mostly Amazon. Shannon's here monitoring. Thank you, Shannon. I don't know if anybody heard that little ding, but that was Shannon letting me know that she's monitoring the group. Shannon is my producer, and she's just a sweetie. So tonight we're going to talk sci-fi. Tell us how you got started in sci-fi, writing science fiction.
That's well. I turned 55 this year, and I'm a child of the 70s. I was born in the 60s, but I'm a child of the 70s, and I think I cut my teeth on psychological horror and space opera. That was kind of where I was at, and I have something. My dad made an unbelievably devastating decision when we were kids, and we moved from South Florida. I'm born and raised in South Florida. We moved up and left my grandparents, my Nana specifically. I left my Nana, and my mom. And he said, "Kids, we're moving to a place called Hawesville, Kentucky." And I was like, where are we going? So, but my mom took me into the library.
Hawesville, Kentucky.
And this is what I found.
Science fiction
tale. In 1976.
Oh, fiction. Okay.
And the reason why this is germane to any conversation with me is because my favorite writer is Anne McCaffrey. And nobody has influenced me more than Anne McCaffrey. And so
she's good.
Wrote a short story for that. And I read it and I thought, what's this? And then I quickly, through her, I discovered space opera and the classics in the 1960s sci-fi. And I discovered ace doubles. Actually, if anybody collects books, these are so wonderful. These are 2 full novels for like 69 cents back in the day. And they're just wonderful. And I love them. I have probably 300 of them. And so I read, and I was a compulsive reader. I think like most of us, I ended up being a voracious reader.
Addicted? Oh yeah, same here. I'm addicted. I'm putting your link to Amazon in there from an very early age. So I can certainly understand that. But Anne is awesome. Dragon Riders of Pern.
Yeah, Dragon Riders of Pern. But I'll tell you something. I read all of the 70s romance too. Like I read Sidney Sheldon, Judith Krantz, Jeffrey Archer, all that glorious trash. Pat Booth, like the
I never read romance until 2010 when Kevin put me on book rations. Never read a romance novel.
Well, I'll tell you, here's the thing about you can make you can make a compelling argument that the first classical romance within the American structure is the 1972 Kathleen Woodward's The Flower and the Flame.
Oh, yes, I've read that. Oh.
That's like, from a structural standpoint, that's where we go back to. And then, for me, one of the ones where I said, okay, this is worth exploring was I read The Thornbirds by Colleen McCullough.
Yeah.
And
they made that a miniseries, didn't they?
They did.
And that I watched.
Fantastic. Yeah. So anyway, I draw from a lot. Like I've written, my share of young adult and paranormal romance and horror and stuff. But I've drawn from all across every possible genre, I would say.
That is awesome. When did you write your very first story? How old were you? Did you write as a child?
Oh yeah. Yep, sure did.
Same here.
It was 1977, probably. I was
Okay.
11. I think I was
What was
11,
it?
and when I was 15, I took my first swing at writing something big, where I was like, okay, let me see if I can do something that's more than a paragraph, that kind of thing. So really, in my teen years, and then what ended up happening is, like I can look at this now and say that this is how writing went for me, and I know we all have different paths, but I my mom died, and I was 27 years old, and I lost a baby, and I got divorced, and my mom died, and then my grandfather died, and I didn't do anything creative for 12 years. For 12 years, I didn't do anything. But then one day, I was, and I am not a poet, let me clarify, but I wrote a poem, like something came to me, and I wrote a poem that was, it was heartfelt and beautiful and too raw, really, and grotesque to share with a lot of people. But I saved it, and I thought about it. And then when my son was born, my son is 15. When my son was born, I took night shift because I'm a night owl, and I typed with one hand so 15 years ago, or let's say 13 years ago, I said, I've got an idea for a short story. It turned into a novel, and it just kind of snowballed. Like, before I knew it, I think I'd written 7 novels in 18 months.
Wow.
And to be candid, I was teaching myself how to write a novel.
Oh, yeah.
You and I have had this
Yes. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with that first book.
Nope. You don't know what
Didn't know what the hell I was doing with the 5th book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. But did you find that cathartic?
Extremely. Cathartic, and also, I will say that the best, and I say this to other authors, there's really only 2 kinds of people in the publishing industry. There's people that talk about it and people that do it.
Yes.
That's it.
And you and I are the people who do it. We talk about it, but we also do it.
Yeah, writing
we walk
is work.
The talk.
You never forget that writing is work. And so I treat it like a job. Like
You have to.
You have to, sure. And and let me tell you something. There's nothing like a taste of success I always quote John Bon Jovi, who said, "You've got your whole life to write your first hit record and 6 months to write your next one." And that's what it's like.
True.
Yeah, that's what it's like. And I thought, okay, I never thought that. Yeah, that's right.
Pretty smart cookie. Yes,
yeah,
he's a very smart cookie.
Orson Scott Card that I read, all of. It's a little bit surreal to be in this industry because, like, 2 of the people that I work with who are actors that recorded some of my books, they're friends with Orson Scott Card, and they call him Scott. And they were like,
neat.
Scott's coming over, so we're going to get that book autographed for you. And I thought, what? It's surreal to me. A kid from South Florida.
Yes.
I
know a kid. Yeah, a girl from Kirkwood, Illinois. Population 522. I think when I was growing up, it was a tiny little town.
Yeah.
Tiny little town, but I draw a lot of inspiration from certain places within the town for contemporaries that I want to write. So,
sure.
I'd hate to think he actually went by Orson.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
So, what is your favorite thing about writing sci-fi?
Well, I have a compulsive sense of wonder. So, when I was a little kid, we went out in the front yard and watched the Apollo missions go up from my front yard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We all drank, we drank Tang. I wanted to be an astronaut. We all wanted to be astronaut. It was just, and then my senior year of high school, the Challenger blew up.
Oh, I remember that. I was watching it. Yep, I was watching it and just could not believe that actually had happened. I was stunned.
Yes. But it was, so I'm of the generation where, I was absolutely smitten with space, volcanoes, and dinosaurs. You know, those three things.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. And then I discovered that there was a genre that was out there that would let me use all three of them simultaneously.
Yes.
I was like, oh, you have my attention. Okay.
I have several sci-fi novels in my head that I would just love to have enough time to write.
Yeah.
I do. But then I worry I can't write it as well as Terry Maggert does, so why bother?
Yeah, I stay home with, you know, the compulsion, of course, to explore your own ability and write different titles and things. But, you know, I know where my bread is buttered in the sense that what I'm good at. And also the other thing is I tend to think, I don't know how, but I think in very long series. Like, you know, this, like Backyard is going to be 25 books minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum 25 books. So, and
I think it really should be a movie and maybe a Netflix series. That's just me. That's what I think. It should be a Netflix series.
If they can ever get over their strike, that'd be wonderful. If they get back to the table.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No comment. No, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for going on strike. And I do not blame the actors for going on strike.
No.
Because especially after I found out what they wanted to do was have the second-hand actors, what do they call them? The background people? Day players.
Yep.
Come in, have the studio scan their faces, their images, and then just use them digitally in the future, and they would never get paid for it again. And I'm sorry, that's just bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
This is a liminal moment. This is a liminal moment for creatives. It's you either dig in and chew them up right now.
Yes.
Or you surrender all your rights and you grab what you can and get the hell out of the way, because there is no path forward that does not include you being hijacked from your own material.
Exactly.
It will happen in creative and terrible ways that people never think. They're like, well, you know, I have an opportunity now for this incredible short-term gain. And my thought process is always, and it could be because, I don't know, it could be because of how I was raised or anything, or my grandparents went through the depression.
Yes.
But I always think to myself, what is our long-term plan here?
Exactly.
As an author, like I call it Teddy money. My son's name is Teddy, and I'm like, this is Teddy money. So what am I doing to protect the Teddy money 20 years down the road? Because I know nothing exists in perpetuity, but it ought to exist at least under an aegis of your control. And I think that this moment in time is where they're going to have to make a decision. Do we stay all in? And if it takes a year, it takes a year. And I'm not being cavalier with people's lives, because I've seen the effects of strikes up close.
Oh, I've lived through strikes growing up.
We lived through a strike. My dad was a phone man, you know. And there was a lot of days with bologna and white bread, you know, where you're like just making do.
We ate a lot of squirrel, rabbit. To this very day, I will vomit if I smell squirrel or rabbit cooking. Oh
man,
that's Poe.
That's Poe. Yeah.
We didn't have nothing. I mean, we had nothing. And I mean, Dad had always worked. He'd never not worked. But yeah, that's what I think of too, is that's one of the reasons I do admire Amazon, because they are very forward thinking. They don't think about, well, how can I make money next year? They're thinking, what's it going to be like in 10? Yes. So, so that's what I have to think. Squirrel does not taste like chicken. It tastes like friggin' squirrel, Dawn.
It does. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We ate fox squirrel with mushroom gravy in the pressure cooker. It was like, you know, and I will say this, to this day, I still eat SOS. You know what?
Oh, shit. I love SOS.
I love it still.
I love that stuff.
Yep.
Did you get the little budding packages that were like 59 cents and then put that in your SOS?
The jar, because the armor in the jar, because that was our orange juice glasses.
Okay.
Yeah. It was fancy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you remember S&H Green Stamps?
Oh my God, yeah. S&H
Yes.
Green Stamps is responsible for all of the china in my mom's house.
There you go.
All of it.
Yes. My mom got lamps and stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
anyway, but we
Yeah.
have digressed. We
Yeah.
do that. Susan does that a lot, and I have a special little video for that.
Perfect. Your favorite
Yes.
meat.
My favorite meat. Yeah, no. I ain't eating it. I'll eat boiled grass first. I don't care. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So, what is your process for world building?
Okay. Well, let me clarify. Let me clarify my background process. Or I tend to think in complete stories. Like I think, and I got the whole thing right. And Cory E.L. Doctorow famously said a few years ago. He said, "Your headlights don't shine very far, but you can get home that way." Meaning, all you really need to know is what's the end of the book. Like let's start there. Do I know what does everybody get? What do they want? And I begin with that process, and then I start with 2 or 3 really simple questions, which is I always come up with a cool idea. I'm like, what about a giant robot, or something like that. And then the other thing is I ask a fundamental question about what is the character willing to do to get what they want?
Exactly.
In their moral structure.
Yes. And what are they willing not to do? What's their hard line?
I need to know where's the breaking point. Absolutely. Yes. And for me, I think between those 2 things, and then I assume the intellect of the reader. In other words, my books have a cultural lexicon, or that is, I don't info dump. I like have a conversation, and I call it sparkling dialogue. It's like
yes. Yes. You're sprinkling that information in.
Absolutely.
Sparingly.
Yeah.
Sparingly.
Yes. And for me, so far, I'm 65 novels in, and it seems to, from a structural standpoint, it seems to work. And also it gives me the opportunity to keep a little meat on the bone, because I don't, there's nothing like that naked panic of getting to the middle act and going, oh shit, I've given away the farm, And so I don't do that. I try to hold and sparsely integrate it at a natural pace.
Yes. And I have never written the end to any book, ever. Ever.
No?
I've never written the words "the end," because I always know that there are secondary characters somewhere in that book who, out of nowhere, it's happened before, just get their own freaking book.
Absolutely.
So I never write the end. I don't.
No, and you never see them coming. The other thing is, I wrote that my first series that kind of took off was Halfway Witchy, and it was fun. I still love it, and I'm actually probably going to revisit it. But Carly, she's a witch with short girl problems and a judgy cat, and she works in a tourist trap town, and it's an adorable setup and everything. But what happened was her best friend just got away from me. Her best friend is an absolute man-eater named Tammy Sincotti. She's got pageant-ready makeup every day. She chews gum and uses finger guns, which I think is just flippant. I love finger. And people, when I see a woman go like that, to me, it's just like it's next level hilarity. And so she got away from me, and I was like, okay, now I have to address her as a 3-dimensional character. So by the time I was 60, 70 pages in, I was like, okay, this is something that's going to add some heft to the story. So I'm revising on the fly as Tammy becomes more,
So we had some questions about SOS. What SOS stands for: shit on a shingle. Yeah. And it's just basically gravy with whatever meat. We always use chipped beef.
It's chipped beef on usually
on toast.
Yeah, on toast. Yeah, chipped beef on toast
with
white gravy. Yeah,
exactly.
My dad ate it in the Navy, and my grandfather ate it in World War II.
Yes.
Yep.
Hey, when you're hungry, you're going to eat anything except squirrel and rabbit. I ain't going there, not doing it. It ain't happening. So, how do you keep track of all your characters? Do you have a system, an organizational thing, something in your computer? How do you do it?
I'm good. So yes, I'm good.
Book Bibles?
I'm good up until about 5 books. And then beyond that, what I did is I actually brought somebody in. I hired someone to do a series Bible.
Oh yeah, I've done that. They are an absolute godsend.
Absolutely. I do a series Bible because to me it is it's a tool that has saved me from howlers quite frequently.
Oh gosh,
and it also lets
yes.
me augment it helps me remember the good things that I've written, where I'm like, oh,
Yes.
that's a clever plot point, or it's an intriguing setting, or things like that. Let's revisit that.
Yes.
So I have a Bible for each series.
Yeah, and it keeps you from writing the same thing again.
No kidding.
I think.
For some authors they can do that, but my idea is that I don't want to rinse, lather, repeat.
No, God, no. Oh, no. I can't do that. Every character has to have their own story. Now, sometimes it can be a similar story. Let's say with Brogan's Promise, my heroine was the alcoholic.
Okay.
Which no one ever does that, where it's the heroine.
Yeah, it's a little,
right?
But that works.
It does work, and it did work quite well. And I had her go through the DTs. I mean, she's crapping herself, she's puking, she's covered in vomit, and different things like that. I didn't pull any punches on that. So I could still use alcoholism in another story, but under a different setting.
Sure.
It could be an old man. It could be a young person, So, but lather, rinse, repeat, no, can't do that. Can't do that. Black Eye says, I'm so addicted to whiteboards that I intend to put one up just for my characters. Will serve dual purposes in that it reminds me I need to be writing as well as the characters. Yes. A huge fan of whiteboards. Still use them. But to save space and money, what I started doing was white poster boards that I could just thumbtack to my wall.
Yeah.
And then my infamous Post-it notes. I'm a huge fan of the, oops, you don't want that one. The waterproof transparent sticky notes.
Oh.
You use like a Sharpie on it.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it, some people call them Bible stickers, because you can put it in your Bible and highlight instead of actually highlighting the pages in the Bible. Then you can see through. But what I like about these is when I write over here, I have 2 big windows in front of my writing desk, and I put these on the window so that I could just glance up and see, okay, that character, her kids' names are whatever, or this guy had blue eyes, all of that. But if you don't have the windows, than just a white poster board, it takes up less space. It's a hell of a lot cheaper. Let's see. Amy said we also ate chicken a la king on toast.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You gotta put this stuff in Terry. You really do.
That's a and if it was
chicken a la
fancy,
king.
it was fancy chicken a la king night was if you got it with biscuits.
Yes. Yes. Or rice. Rice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Rice was expensive back then. Oh, okay. Right. People like the ones that you can reuse, that you can just wipe off with a damp cloth. Yes. I just like these. These are just like my babies. I love these. I have, I know we're digressing. We're not talking about sci-fi, but I have all these different colors. I just It brings joy into my life. And it's the little things, right, Terry?
Yes. Yeah.
You are adorable. So, is there, when it comes to your personal writing, is there an area that you have struggled with that you've overcome, or something that you still struggle with when it comes to writing?
My biggest yeah. Um, I wanted to over explain things,
Yes.
and I didn't pare it down to where now I've got it to where, and it's taken me a long time to get it, but I don't have that compulsion to create these dense paragraphs. There's this tendency. I think I had a
Yes.
tendency where I was like, every book could be 150,000 words. I think it's the opposite of most people are like, well, can you get your word count? And I'm like, that's not the problem. The problem
That's
is
not the problem.
paring it down, making it very lean, making it, there are certain authors that intuitively do that, like a very lean kind of, those I heard it described once about Hemingway, a spare muscular prose, you know, and
Yes.
the
Yes.
best example is, can you make it evocative with fewer words? And the example I always use is, Hemingway wrote 6 words: for
Yes.
sale, baby shoes, never worn.
Oh,
And that is a gut punch of a sentence. Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah. So that taught me that sometimes less is more.
Oh,
And
definitely.
it started shaping who I was as a writer. And also, here's another thing. At some point, you have to rewire yourself and stop thinking of yourself as a hobbyist and start
Yeah.
thinking of
No.
yourself as an author. I mean, I'm
And a
an author. That's
business.
what I do. I'm an author. I used to be a roofer. I owned a restaurant for years. I was a short order cook. I've done, appliance repair. I've done a handyman, and I've done carpentry and everything. But I'm a writer. I'm an author. And
Exactly.
there is a distinction between a writer and an author. The sooner you conclude that you're an author, the more successful you'll be. For the
Yes.
for the simple fact that the author takes everything into account. The writer thinks that being a typewriter monkey is all you have to do. And that
Oh, I
simply is.
like that.
I try to disabuse people of that as soon as possible in their careers, so that they look at the big picture in terms of the things that are required to achieve a modicum of success.
Exactly. And it's okay. Like for the people here tonight who just want it to be a hobby. That's quite all
No, it's
right.
fine. It's fine.
But if you really want to be successful at this, you do have to treat it like a business. You have to have a 3-month plan, a 9-month plan, an 18-month plan, 5 years, etc. I really suck at doing that because I usually, prior to being medicated, my goals always changed.
Yeah.
Oh, I did that in 3 months instead of the 9 I had allotted. Or, I love the sound of a deadline as it just flies by me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think I have gotten better at packing a more powerful punch with fewer words. And now I struggle to hit that 125K mark that my historical readers are used to reading.
Sure.
But I don't necessarily need all those words. So I think if the story is still impactful, it's still powerful, it's still well written, I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Past a certain point, you're kind of seasoned. Like I'm not saying that writing is easy, because writing is, and also I'm not an advocate for, I can't, okay, this is a tough love moment for when I meet people who think that they're tortured artists. I'm like, look, Van Gogh was a tortured artist.
Yes.
You're writing about shapeshifters banging guys at the mall outside of an Orange Julius. This is not, let's not make it more complex. I was writing cheerful little witch stories, and if I'd have taken myself too seriously, I would have been insufferable. So I was like,
Yes.
all right, I'm a mechanic. I always say I'm a mechanic. Now there is
Mm-hmm.
some artistry in being a mechanic,
Oh,
but it is
definitely.
largely an assembly process as
Yes.
opposed to as opposed to an inspirational process.
Yes.
So, but
I
that's
agree.
that's one of the things I always tell people is, you can be serious about being a
Yes.
writer and not take yourself seriously.
Exactly. See, I am serious about my career. I'm serious about my
Yeah,
books.
yeah.
I'm serious about the story. Serious about helping people. I'm serious about a whole lot of things. But anybody who's spent more than 5 minutes with me knows I'm just an absolute nut. That's all there is to it. There are days when I require my own personal attendant. Like tonight, for instance, I made a frozen pizza. I put a frozen pizza in the oven, and I forgot to take the cardboard off the bottom.
Yeah.
The other morning, I made a nice hot pot of water because I forgot to put the coffee in.
Excellent.
So, it amazes me how I've been successful at this when I'm such a ditz. It's like it's got to be divine intervention. That's the only thing I can think of, and sheer will and determination.
Sure. Well, you didn't quit. The other thing,
I
the
didn't
other thing
know.
also is, I was a history professor for 5 years,
Yes.
and then I was I taught grad school at Southern New Hampshire University in the MFA in English, and they made me a very kind offer. I enjoyed my years with them, and I probably might even go back to them at some point and teach the occasional class. But I taught science fiction and fantasy writing. But one of the things that I told everybody was, the commonality that exists among successful authors is they didn't quit. And the way that you know that is true is all you have to do is go walk into a room and somebody says, "What do you do for a living?" And you say, "I'm a writer." And the
I'm an
first sentence
author.
out of their mouth is, "I thought about writing a book." That's every
Yes.
time. And it's,
Or I have a great book idea for you.
oh, I
You
got a
should
great
write
book idea.
this.
Got a great book idea. Yep. So, and the irony is that there are probably 10 million first chapters of books across the United States
Yes.
alone. I'm just speaking of my own country. And with that being said, the distinction is like I've written now dozens of novels, and I realized past a certain point that you were going to have to hit me in the head with a baseball bat to get me to stop writing. And I was like, I'm
Yes.
not going to, until I physically can't do this, I'm not going to stop doing it. Period.
No.
Yeah.
I swear I'm going to still be writing books about 5 years after my death.
Yeah.
Because I have so many
Yeah.
in here. I do. I just have so many stories. And every
Yeah.
day there's a new story that just pops up out of freaking nowhere. Like my mother-in-law lives in a very small town, like half hour away, and it's rural. And we were coming back, and Kevin was driving, and we were going over this bridge, and we'd gone down this road 1,000 times since we've met, in the last 19 years. But it was the first time I noticed this particular little dirt road right after you get off the bridge to the left. And it was like this, maybe it was a seizure, I don't know, but it was this explosion in my mind, and I had to get out my phone because I didn't have my notebook with me, and I'm just in the notes, and I'm just writing down all these different things, and Kevin's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I just got a great book idea." And it's so, they can come out of nowhere. Absolute nowhere.
There's my first. I found a picture the other day. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. But you asked me a question earlier about when did this also. I'll tell you, when I was in rural Illinois, and I was walking with my wife along. Her family is from two towns that are population 200, Lee and Shabana. Anyway, so we're walking along, and I look, and there's a top of a minister's chair and I was born Methodist and I raised Methodist. So if it's Methodist or Lutheran, I'm like, oh, I recognize it right away. Right. So,
Yes.
so what it is somebody from an old burn pile and I thought this is really interesting. So that night I noticed, if you're ever in the South or for that matter, anywhere, all the roadside crosses,
Yes.
Okay. So I had an idea. The idea is this, and I wrote this story, and it took me about an hour. And it was called "A Cross for Sammy Ridgway." And what it is it's a ghoul that is 13,000 years old, and her human helper, and he's a plain, bland guy who goes into these small towns across the Midwest and goes to the Dairy Queen or whatever and tells a ghost story. And he tells a
Okay.
ghost story about this cross, and he says, on the night of no moon, she comes out.
Oh,
And
wow.
and so I wrote that story, and it ended up being oddly touching, deeply
Mm-hmm.
grotesque, and a little more savage than I intended. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
That was what got me started, where I was like, okay, I can finish a thought. I think
Yes.
is where I thought I can finish a thought. So, but the idea to circle back to your idea, you don't know where the ideas come from everywhere. They're
Oh, a smell, a glimpse
yeah,
out of the
yeah,
corner of your eye.
yep,
I love to people watch.
oh yeah,
Oh, do I love to
yeah,
people watch? And it's like, I had to stop myself because I used to carry this little tiny, like, just a little bit bigger than my phone in my purse to write down notes. And
yeah,
we would be out to dinner, and Kevin's like, "You need to stop doing that." I'm like, "Well, I gotta write it down, or I'm gonna forget it because
yeah,
you know me." So, yeah, the inspiration can come from
yeah.
anywhere. A picture, just anything.
Yeah, I run 5 days a week, and at about the
Mm-hmm.
25 to 28 minute mark is when the endorphins start popping, and that's when
Mm-hmm.
we get grandiose thoughts and things like that. So what I do is I take voice notes, like
Oh
and
yes, I've done that. Mm-hmm.
particularly dialogue for me. I think of
Mm-hmm.
dialogue that's really crisp and has that literary sucker punch that I want. And so what I
Mm-hmm.
end up doing is I save all of that, and then I've got an app that downloads it, and
Mm-hmm.
I've got chunks of dialogue ready to go.
Sweet. Well, see, I usually get that feeling about halfway into my fourth donut.
Yeah, yeah. Same.
People,
Same.
if you see me running, y'all better start running too, because there's something after me. That's all I'm saying. And Terry was raised a Methodist. I was raised a heathen.
Okay.
I am a Christian, but we didn't go to church growing up. In fact, I think the first time I was actually in a church was for my cousin's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just
Well,
didn't go to
let me
church. But
clarify. Being raised Methodist means, that I'm a casserole expert. And,
yes.
so there's, there's like, and the funny part is one of my my first college degree, I have a degree in religion and then a master's degree in military history. But my religion degree, everybody said, "Are you going to be a minister?" And I said, well, first of all, the sense of humor that would be required for God to allow that does not exist. But the other issue was, I said, I like knowing my own history through a scholarly lens.
Okay.
So it was deeply satisfying for me to know that. And also, the intersection between war and religion is rich, rich fodder for. I write
Mm-hmm.
military sci-fi primarily, and I've got it
Yes.
right there.
Oh yeah. Because well, I won't go there. We don't discuss religion or politics on
Yeah,
this
I know.
channel
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
unless it's in a fictional way.
yeah.
But yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. So, what is the when it comes to writing and publishing? What is it? What job is it that you just absolutely despise doing?
Okay, so there's a thing that we occasionally have to do that's called a hard rewrite,
Yes.
and I would rather let you swing a Louisville Slugger at my kneecap than do. I. It's the only thing that leaves me feeling drained and angry simultaneously. Um,
Okay.
it's just, it's just absolutely stunning. So, yeah, sometimes we have to do a hard rewrite when we work with a new author, and the material comes in, and if they'll be like, hey, can you fix this and make it a little more in line with our goals and our tone and
Mm-hmm.
our voice. And you're basically writing two novels simultaneously. You're unwriting a novel and then converting it and translating it. And the process is just, it's grinding. And of course, it's 100 and something thousand words. So, no
I've
matter
never
what,
done that. I've never had to do that.
oh man, it's, I think it's the only thing that I've ever run into in publishing that I don't like. Like I love writing and I love editing and I love everything about it. And I love art. Like my office, I'm in my son's room, but my office is covered with science fiction art. I love everything
Yes.
about it. But that's the one thing that I found that I truly dread.
Okay. Well, I don't think I've ever had to do a hard rewrite.
Whew, good for you.
Because I just don't know. I don't think I've ever had to do that. I've had to add things. I've had to add scenes in order to make something make more sense. But I've never had to. Well, I'm going to take that back with Orabilis. And it wasn't a hard rewrite. It was just, I trashed 45,000 words that I had written because I knew it wasn't working and I just started over.
Yeah.
I didn't keep any of that. It's just all in my This Sucks file. Do you have a This Sucks file on your computer?
Do I ever? From my first attempt at a novel is in there.
Is it really?
Because my pitch to myself was, okay, alcoholic charter boat captain who inherited a Swedish meatball fortune.
I love it. I love that.
And it could have worked. The thing is, it could have worked, except that I chose that's the setup, and it's going to be it's a small Florida town that's a planned community, and in it there's a crime against a young girl, and it creates a schism in the community. That's a really serious topic that has to be handled deftly. And I got a guy who's drunk on bourbon by 10 a.m. and and I was like, okay, so
save him for another book.
Obviously, I've created a mashup that isn't going to work. So I took those. I think I've got 6 chapters, and I put it there. And if it ever sees the light of day, it will. Let me tell you, the only other time you know Suzanne Collins.
Yes.
Okay. This, God rest her soul, but after she passed away, she wrote Valley of the Dolls and all kinds.
Yes.
So after she passed away, they found a science fiction novel in her drawer that she had written.
Oh, really?
That she clearly had a thing for Yul Brynner. Like I could do that.
Yes, I remember Yul.
Oh
God, he was sexy.
Oh yeah, the king of men. So it was basically Yul Brynner clones on a bee planet, on like Planet Buzz, and it was called Yargo, and they published that shit. And I was like, okay, so when I die, everything in that gets 86th. Everything gets 86th. It's not going to see the light of day.
I've got people showing up at my funeral dressed in black, standing at the back. People are going to wonder, who is that? Why are they here?
Oh yeah. Well, did you see? There was a meme that said, for $500, a woman will show up in a trench coat and sunglasses.
Yes, that's what I want.
And just walk away and not say anything. And I was like,
yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. I do. Or someone to dress up like they're in the CIA. Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
What's she really doing?
Yeah, we can't talk about it. It's too soon.
We can't talk about that. Yeah, it's too soon. I think on my headstone, though, Kevin wants to put it on a shirt, but I think I might have it on my headstone. It'll say, Susan Tisdale, author, storyteller, cheeky wench, missing deadlines since 2012.
Yes.
I might have that put on my headstone. I haven't decided yet. It'll be something funny that'll make people chuckle.
Yeah.
I just, even in death, I can make somebody giggle. That's what I want. Yeah.
All I can say is when I die, I hope everybody likes Duran Duran because it's, because I'm a Gen Xer. And I was thinking about, I'm not going to be playing like morose, funeral dirges. I'm going to be like, I want Journey. I want The Cult. I want Blondie. We're going to be playing the things that the soundtrack of my life. But now the soundtrack of my life started in 1977. So from a generational sense, I think I don't know if it may be the cultural zeitgeist of Gen X we're just coming into our own. I'm not sure. Now, I also would like to clarify in case anyone's listening that I don't plan on, I hope I don't die for a while because I've got deadlines.
Yes, exactly. I don't have time to die right now. I have shit to do. At my funeral, they know that they have to have a kegger and lots of whiskey.
Yep.
And somebody better be playing Amazing Grace on the bagpipes. And after that, it's all Elvis and Ray Charles and Fats Domino and Patsy Cline and oh shit, what's her name? You
What's
make
she
me
look
feel
like?
like a natural woman. Janis Joplin,
Oh.
Aerosmith, Kansas, all of that.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Hello.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a wide variety of music. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. And they better be playing some Dottie West and Georgia Jones too, because you know.
You're gonna have a long funeral.
Well, I'm. It comes from the Irish side of my family. We do not do funerals. We do wakes.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
And when Kevin and I were first married, I don't even think we'd been married a whole year yet. And my Uncle Gary, my mom's baby brother, passed away from cancer. And very, very sad time. And Kevin asked me if I would take his suit to the dry cleaners. And I said, what for? For your uncle's funeral. I mean, he just looks at me like I'm an idiot, right? He said, for your uncle's funeral. I said, you can't wear a suit to his funeral. He'd roll over in his grave. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, honey, you're going to an old-fashioned Irish wake.
Oh, my God.
There will be booze, there will be food, and there will be music, and you're probably not going to make it to work tomorrow.
Oh,
He didn't believe me. He packed his suit in the trunk of the car because he thought I was pulling his leg. I said, you have to wear your Hawaiian shirt, any one you want, and just khaki shorts and your flip-flops. He thought I was pranking him. So we get there and he's like, holy shit, she wasn't pranking me. So we get home around 4 o'clock in the morning. And he says, Susie, please don't take this the wrong way, but that was the funnest funeral I've ever been to. I'm like, yes, we do wakes. So he's grown very accustomed to it now. After 18 plus years of marriage, he's grown quite accustomed to the Irish side of my family, and he loves them dearly. So, oh yeah, we had live bands and then when Uncle Fred died, oh my God, that was one bar hop to another. Everywhere everywhere was another shot of Crown Royale to Uncle Fred. And that time Kevin, he was the designated driver. Oh my God, I couldn't find my ass with both hands. It was bad, but we cried, we laughed, we wept, we laughed, we drank, we toasted. Yeah, I'm sorry, we digressed again. I'm so very sorry. Do I need to get my squirrel out? Okay, what's this say? On the night that Patty Murphy died was a night I'll never forget. Some of the boys got loaded drunk and they ain't been sober yet. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is cool. When my grandpa's friend passed, he wanted all his pallbearers to drink everything left in his house and share stories.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's cool. Yep.
And I have so much booze in my house. I could keep a small third world country drunk for a month. I don't drink. I can't drink anymore. And I've never really drank. I do like a shot every now and then. After I finish a book, I like a little wee dram of my favorite whiskey. And but it'll take me 2 hours to drink it. And can't do it anymore with all the new meds I'm on, so that sucks. So now when my nephews visit, they get to take home a bottle of their favorite adult beverage.
Nice.
And again, I have digressed. We have digressed. It's all supposed to be about science fiction tonight. Okay, your most favorite sci-fi movie of all time?
Oh, it's also my favorite horror movie, Alien.
Oh,
Alien.
yes, I love Alien.
It's perfect. I think that there's. Yeah, I'm a Blockbuster veteran. I did 4 hard years at Blockbuster Video.
Okay.
And sci-fi has always been the elegant cousin of literature.
Yes.
So but I also love space horror like Pandorum and Event Horizon and stuff like that. But I would say that Alien is perfect. I wouldn't. There's not. I'm not a filmmaker, but there is not a shot in it that I would change. It's absolutely spot on. So that's my.
I'm definitely a Star Trek girl.
Yeah.
Every day after school, we watched it, so that's my favorite. Hang on a second. Ouch.
Sure.
Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? I have my own somewhere in here. Oh, I got organized and now I don't know where the hell anything is. I actually have a Klingon to English, English to Klingon dictionary.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Which Alien movie?
Alien.
The first one. The
Alien.
only one that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, Alien. Well, Alien is like my favorite sci-fi and horror, and then Aliens, which is an absolutely different genre, is just as, for me, is almost as perfect.
Yes.
So,
yes. You know. I cried when Spock died.
Oh my God.
Wept. Tears running down my neck. Yeah. I do love Star Wars too. Yeah. I loved the original Star Wars movies more than
there are only 3 Star Wars movies in my.
And that's what I'm saying.
In my lexicon, I have, and I don't want anybody. It's funny when a 17-year-old comes at me to argue, I'm like,
oh, child, go sit down. You ain't got enough chest hair on your chest to argue this point with me. He is not single, Diana. No, he's happily married. Let's see. Fellow Trekkie. That's why I love Susan. Aliens was amazing. Oh, kind of a sci-fi searchers.
Oh yeah. Yes. I'm a huge fan of Westerns, and I love, I actually dive, I love classic. Like when I say classic, I mean from the 30s and 40s as well.
Yes.
That's how far back my movie taste goes. So I'll watch High Noon probably once a year, and I'll watch, Finnegan's Reef.
Oh, anything with John Wayne in it for me.
Yeah.
Yes, Finnegan's Reef is awesome.
There's certain, one of the interesting, writing science fiction is easy because you can, writing science fiction is a lot like writing Westerns, in my opinion.
And people will literally argue with me and say I'm insane. If you look at John Wayne movies or the older Westerns, but more specifically John Wayne, the Westerns, those are romance.
They're absolutely romance.
Exactly. But they're not billed that way. They're not called a romance. It's called a Western. But the romance plays heavily in those movies, like McClintock.
Absolutely.
What's the one where his grandson gets kidnapped? That was another Maureen O'Hara movie.
Rooster Cogburn?
No.
Shit. But yes, but yeah, a love story is at the core of it.
Exactly.
Here's the other thing. You can make a pretty compelling argument without getting too esoteric. You can make a compelling argument that the landscape itself is a character.
Yes.
So in a sense, it's a love triangle. It's a triangle between the backdrop of New Mexico, Katie Girardo, who would look good wearing a potato sack, and then you're, whoever your hero is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the structure is there. It's very recognizable, especially to romance authors. Romance authors understand structure because they understand structure out of necessity because the audience demands structure from them. You can't write a romance and then 2/3 of the way in have a gang rape.
No, you can't. Although some try.
I know. Oh, no shit. Hello.
God forgive me, be with all the starving children in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
yeah.
So there is a definitive so anyway, to me it's extremely familiar. I think that writing science fiction is one of the more cozy experiences for me because what is it, baby? Oh, hold on. I got to let my cat out.
Oh, okay. I loved the Rooster Cogburn movies too. Donovan's Reef, The Quiet Man. Oh my gosh.
Donovan's Reef.
Yep.
Donovan's
Yeah.
Reef is like, I mean, you've got Cesar Romero in a little bit part, and you've got like,
Yes.
and it's
Oh, what's his name? There was a big
Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin. That's it.
No, Lee Marvin.
I was thinking
it's a great movie, and the music is wonderful, and it's that vibrant Technicolor and everything.
Yes.
And actually, like I don't get nostalgic for like. There's really only one thing that I miss, and that is the prevalence of AM radio. Because the truth is, the good old days are now. Like, if we're being perfectly honest, it's like, yeah, I like things like antibiotics and and stuff like that. But but one of the things that I do enjoy about that, it paints a halcyon picture, if you will, of a time that doesn't exist anymore. So, but anyway, if you're a romance writer and you want to create plot lines that are a little bit different from what is currently being done, I suggest that you plumb the depths of Westerns and romance from the 30s and 40s. Go right there.
Yes. I do have a whole Western series in my head, actually 2, that I really, really want to write. And I'm not going to talk about it, but they're in my head. I've written every single book in my head. It's just getting it out of my head and onto the computer that is sometimes difficult. But the only John Wayne movie that I cannot watch, I have watched it, but I cannot watch it anymore, and that's The Shootist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because that was his last movie.
I know, man.
And he went out the way he wanted to go out.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it wasn't the character that was dying on that saloon floor. It was John Wayne himself.
It was John Wayne. Yep.
And I just can't. But one of my favorite John Wayne movies is The Cowboys.
Oh my God.
And I cry every time he dies in that movie.
Yeah.
I do. It's like, I know what happened. Yeah. I love that movie. Oh, you share John Wayne's birthday. Cool. You wrote
cool.
Yeah, you wrote an 1890s romance, but it's a noir. Cool.
Oh, that's an interesting time period. I'm a big fan of the various punks, like clock punk, atom punk, steampunk.
Yes. Punk. I've got a whole steampunk series that I want to write.
Fan. Yep.
Yes.
Big fan.
Yes. I've got the names all plotted out. Yes. Yep. Yes. I don't think there's a genre out there that I don't have a book in my head for. I don't think so. I really don't think so. There's so many. I wish I could just do a gig stick, like slide it into my ear, and I could just download all the information out of my brain and put it on the computer, and then I will just fix it. Oh, I love Lonesome Dove. Oh, Lonesome Dove is classic.
That's my wife's favorite. That's my wife.
I will watch that one,
and she will watch it. Oh, she will watch it on repeat.
Yes. Yep. And I've got so many of the lines memorized, when I watch it. Yeah, I love that movie. I was not a fan of Clint Eastwood's Westerns. Never was. Yeah, never was. I did like his Go Ahead Make My Day movies. But I liked his stuff as he got older. I preferred it.
Yeah.
I didn't like his younger movies.
He said, if you ever want to have a kind of surreal experience, his first directorial debut was in the late 60s, and it was a movie called Breezy. And Susan, I can't do this justice. I was listening to, first of all, it's a character piece that is really intriguing, and it's definitely worth watching. But the music is... I said, you've got to be shitting me with this song when I was listening to the theme song, and it turned out it won the Grammy.
Really? Okay, Susan's got to go hunt for this song. Hang on.
Oh, it is unbelievable. You listen to it, and you're like, who did a flower child write this? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. But yeah, highly recommend.
Okay, I'm Googling it. I'm Googling it.
He's
From 1973?
73. Yep.
Okay, hang on. Is that, let's see. That's a tribute. What was the name of the song? Breezy?
Breezy.
Okay, let's see.
Well, let's put it this way.
We're going to share this. We have to share.
I think it is, but I'll find it. I'll find it and send it to you just for a laugh, because
Okay.
it's this early 70s incomprehensible. Oh yeah, that's Kay Lenz. That's her.
Oh, I loved Kay Lenz. I did.
Well, yeah,
Okay, we're going to hit play. I thought she was pretty.
She was a stunning woman.
Her name is Breezy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the trailer. Okay.
Yeah, this is the trailer.
The morning is a friend of mine.
This is it.
Is this the song?
This is it.
Always plays my song.
Miss, I don't pick up hitchhikers.
And anytime I ask the wind, it lets me tag along.
What are you, anyway?
Thank you.
Nobody's fool, sweetheart. Get your clothes on. He's over.
You just keep mixing me up. Which am I? Am I the dum-dum that got taken last night, or the witch who's trying to take you tonight?
The day
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's worth watching it for his sweaters alone.
like a diamond
Oh, right?
Oh yeah,
together.
yeah. It's completely age inappropriate. It's got it all. It's got it all.
My niece.
Would you mind very much if I love you? I just would like to be able to say the words once in a while.
I just haven't got your nerve, Frank. There's a lot more involved than just your...
Back when men were hairy.
Sex.
And not
I
ripped.
don't hold you soon.
No.
I think I'm gonna die.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Frank. God, you're young.
Okay. I can't cope with it. I cannot cope with any of it.
Look at the overacting. Look at the overacting.
So this is like a
Isn't
version
it
of
surreal?
American Beauty? It is.
I always thought that American Beauty got its go from here. I
Yes.
always thought. But
Oh, my stars. Oh,
Yes.
my stars.
and was the 70s weird or what?
Oh, the 70s. There are most movies from the 70s I can't stand to watch.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I can't stand to watch it because of the facial hair alone.
Well,
so,
that too.
yeah.
Well, my husband has a beard, so
Yeah, but
I'm good with that.
Kevin's organized. Kevin doesn't look like he just got done hibernating. And basically,
Yes.
everybody in the 70s looked like they were hibernating. You know?
They were dirt, like their clothes were dirty, and
Yeah.
they didn't know how to shave a beard or haircuts. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I only remember most of the 80s, even though I was born in 74.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
But the bell bottoms and the
man.
leather jackets and that bedspread, that orange and green bedspread, that was so 70s.
Yeah.
But once again, we have digressed, which is quite all right. If you could give any bit of advice to the authors who are here tonight, what advice would you want to give them as it comes to...
Sure. Okay. So, I made a decision. When I said I'm going to be an author, that I was going to be a pro. And so everything that I do is like fake it till you make it, that kind of thing. Except it's not fake it till you make it. I take it like what you see is what you get with me when I'm in professional settings. And the best example, I'll tell you a cautionary tale. When I put my tweed jacket on and I go to an event or anything, I am there as Terry Maggert, author. I'm a pro.
Yes.
I'm there to represent myself and my brand, and also, quite frankly, my family. So
Yes.
with that being said, I remember I went to an event once, and there was 60 or 70 authors, and I was there, and a bunch of them were drinking, and but they treated book events like a chance to get away from their kids.
Yes.
And that's not what it is. What it is it's for the readers. It's for the readers. So
Yes.
I say do everything that you do should be pro. Look pro, have a pro website, get a professional looking signature, have professional looking covers, have a professional editor, everything pro. That's the most letters that you'll ever that are germane to every single decision you make moving forward if you want to beat the odds and become a successful author. And I know how fortunate I am, but I also know that it wasn't entirely by accident.
No, you worked damn hard to get where you are.
Yes, and it's intentional. It's intentional.
Yes.
So do that. So, you can use whatever terminology you wish, but everything you do should look and be professional. And then also, let's come back to this. Writing is work. Writing is work. Treat it like
it is.
You want to treat it like a hobby. That's awesome. That's awesome. But as soon as people start giving you money for your work, you're a pro.
Exactly. And you have to treat it like a business.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have to spend $20,000 your first year to be professional? No.
No. Oh, no, not at all.
No. But some people think that they can't be a professional until they have their website done and until they have their business cards and until they have this, that, and the other. That's all what I call creative avoidance. You're creatively avoiding.
You're not writing.
The writing. Exactly.
You're not.
And
one of the most catastrophic losses of revenue that I've ever seen and this is something that is a commonality, is I will see people who are in their second or third year as an author and they have an assistant. And I'm like, what in the hell do you have an assistant for? They have an assistant because they want the cultural cachet of appearing to be something that they're not. I'm like, dude, I'm in year 10 and we are consistently at the top of the charts. We're arguably the number one science fiction brand in the United States and arguably you can say the world. And I don't have an assistant. And the reason I don't is because number one, I want to control everything myself. And number two, I'm not throwing money away on something that is not only unnecessary, but when it comes down to it, it is spending money on things that could be better invested to further my brand strategically.
Exactly. It could be better spent on advertising. It could be better spent on branding. Learn how to brand yourself is important.
Yes.
Okay. It's how you conduct yourself.
It is.
Publicly, how you conduct yourself publicly is very, very important.
Correct.
But you can have the most beautiful website. You can have the most beautiful business cards. Nobody uses business cards anymore. Please quit doing that. That's a waste of money. Nobody does that. For the
love of all that's holy, don't use square business cards. If you must have a business card, don't use a square one.
No.
They don't fit in don't fit in pockets.
They don't fit anywhere.
They don't fit anywhere.
You can have, the most magnificent covers, the most magnificent everything. But you can't publish and you can't sell blank pages.
No.
Unless you're creating a lined journal. Yeah. And that's, So just, that's always my big piece of advice.
Yep.
Is don't worry about anything else. Nothing else matters until you have finished writing the book.
And I'll go one step farther. I'll say that the magic numbers, 3 is the magic number here. At 3 books, you become a brand and not a person. At 3 books, I remember going to my first event and I had a book, and then I was at an author's event in Cincinnati where I met some of my closest lifelong friends, and I had 5 books. And let me tell you, the distinction in how I was treated was so radically different. And then I had 10 books, and then I had 20, and then I've got 5 series. and now all of a sudden you have, but you don't need to work. Like, you're putting the cart before the horse when you're obsessing about building out an infrastructure for something that doesn't yet exist. When in
Exactly.
actuality, you need to have a first draft, and you need it in the hands of a professional editor. And with God as my witness, I don't ever want to hear somebody say, well, my mom really liked it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you know what?
Your mom still has your watercolor finger paints
Absolutely.
from when you were a kid.
Yep. Your mom forgave you for burning the living room carpet in 1974. Your mom is not your
she
editor.
Is not going to be honest.
Yeah.
Although my mother was very honest. I think I've told you this story. I wrote the book, Laid's Daughter, printed it off because I didn't know the first thing. I didn't know what I was doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I've got this book. I printed it off on the printer, 3-hole punch, into a 3-ring binder. I signed. I give it to her. I said, Mom, this is what I've been doing. This is a gift for you. This is going to be on your Kindle, blah, blah, blah. And she looked at me and said, she asked me if there was any lustful thrusting. Lustful thrusting. And I said, God, no, Mom. I don't write books like that. Oh. So I come back a week later, and I said, well, what'd you think of the book, Mom? She said, Susie, it was really good, but honey, you really needed more lustful thrusting. You really did.
Oh, God.
But she loved it, and she loved all my books. She had signed copies to all of them. Well, Aurora, then your mom is not the person you need to share your books with. Just don't even ask her. You're looking for a blessing you're never going to find. Yes, lustful thrusting. So, my mother was always brutally honest. I would walk in and she'd go, you're not wearing any makeup. Yes, Mom, I have makeup on. Well, not enough. Or she'd say, Susie, go put on a bra. And I'm like, I've got a bra on. Oh, well, why are they so saggy? I don't know. Maybe nursing 3 children. That could have had something. I mean, my mother, God, she was brutally honest. Anyway, stealth. I don't even know what y'all are talking about now because I've been stealth nookie. Oh, God.
Stealth nookie.
And that word doesn't bother me. Moist, that doesn't bother me.
Oh, I turned moist into, it's actually, I've got it on a mug because I used moist as one of our taglines for Backyard Starship.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to develop this. I'm going to take this, this meme culture and use it to my advantage. And so, I actually, in 2022, book 6, I started using I won't bore you with it, but anyway, I integrated it into the story so that I could have a viral meme culture connection to the series.
Okay.
But that's another
and it worked,
thing.
I'm sure.
If you write fast enough, you can stay timely.
Yes, that's true. You cannot take 6 years to write one book.
Oh, no. You can't take a year.
You can't take a year.
Let's
3 months
talk.
max.
12
maybe
weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe. I write a book every 6 to 7 weeks. But the truth is that we track data pretty well, and the truth is we can't go more than 8 or 9 weeks. Yeah. The bell.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Yeah.
No, I do take 3 months to write a book. Simply because, for lots of different reasons. I'm quite serious about my career, okay? But I have an 80-year-old father. I got to make time for him. I've got grandchildren who just are my entire world, and a husband who is retired, and we love to travel. But when it's about jobs, I can take it with me. So anyway, but I usually, about 3 months, I can write a book.
Yep.
Now, how long do you take for the editing process? Because I take 6 weeks for the editing.
So I have we have 11 full-time employees. So
Yes.
We have a full-time editor who just takes it, and she's with it for about 5 days. And then
okay.
Then we go back and forth, and then we have a team of beta readers that are, quite good. And there's about 25 of them. and it goes
Okay.
through betas, and then it goes to upload. We're good to go.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Well,
We-
I also have a
we
final
have
prover.
We have a definitive process. I guess what I'm saying is,
Yes.
I did not have a process back in 2013. I was just me. I was a one
No.
man show. But now we have, we have a company. We're a publisher basically. So
Yes. Yes. Shivers on editing. It's done. You got the book edited. Now I know there are some groups out there who will tell you that it's perfectly acceptable to just write the book and publish it. You don't need to
Absolutely
edit
not.
it. Your readers don't care. They
Absolutely
are the
not.
ones they're the rapid release people.
No,
They want to
I don't-
release a book every 2 or 3 weeks.
I'll tell you what,
No.
I don't care. And when they beat me in the charts, then they can lecture to me. But I will never take
Mm-hmm.
money for a subpar product.
No, absolutely not.
Nope.
No. But they are the rapid releasers. There's a lot more to it than that, but I'm not going to discuss it on the channel. But yeah, you have to edit that book. You just have to.
It's not conducive to, first of all, the tail of a product that if you don't edit it, the product has a 72-hour tail maximum.
Yes.
You know,
These
let-
days,
let me-
it didn't used to be that way.
Right. If you write a great book, like I wrote September 20th of 2021, Backyard Starship came out, and it went to number 39 globally. Global.
Yes.
I'm not talking about
I'm
sci-fi. I'm
stinking
talking about
proud of
global.
you.
1 year later, it hit number 1. And the reason
Yes.
it did because it was a Kindle Daily Journal. And Amazon was very kind to us. But the point being that you wouldn't have that kind of legs on it if it had not been a good product. So
Exactly.
so
And that's a topic for another night. But what you want are the legs.
yeah,
You want a book
a
that's.
long,
It doesn't have to hit.
ball. Yep.
Yes. You don't want the whiz hat.
Yeah.
This is the kiss of death. There can be a slight spike, but you want it. You're better off being number 40 for 3 or 4 weeks, and then moving up
Absolutely.
to
Absolutely.
38. That is so much better in the algorithms. You all have to trust me on this, but this is
Yep.
probably a subject for another night because I think a lot of you here are more newbies.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, that's stuff that I didn't even know until year 8. To be candid with you. So,
Oh, kidding. Oh, yes, it is.
yeah, I don't.
When
I
a character, yes,
colloquial
when the
colloquial
character-
speech, absolutely. Yeah.
of course. I mean, I write Scottish historical romance, and I use ye and leave the G's off of a lot of words. So yeah, that's perfectly acceptable. I don't know if I would do it in the narration,
Yeah,
but definitely in
probably can't get away with it.
dialogue. Yeah, no, but definitely in the dialogue between your characters or in the internal dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's can be just as important. Yeah, Aurora says her problem is she over edits and overthinks.
Okay, so
Stop that.
so Aurora, that's a failure to launch issue, and
Mm-hmm.
and the best thing that you can do is you set a date and you get that manuscript out of your hands to somebody who takes control of it away from you.
Yes.
Because I've got friends of mine. Let me tell you, I've got talented friends of mine who are screwing around with their first manuscript 8 years later, 9 years later,
Yes.
10 years later, and let me tell you, they're never going to publish it.
No.
They're never going to.
No.
And
No,
it's okay.
absolutely not.
Don't let perfection be the enemy of good.
Yes. Exactly.
That's the best thing I can say.
Because it's never going to be perfect. Ever,
No.
ever, ever. It will never, ever, ever be perfect. Your first book is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's going to be an ugly person with a great smile.
Yes.
Well, there's going to be something in it that you look at and you go, oh, that's really, really actually good, and the rest of it is trash. But it's okay because
Yes.
not everybody hits a home run on the first pitch. What you do is you
No.
teach yourself over the next couple 100,000 words how to
Yes.
properly write and how to tell a story.
Exactly. Anyway, okay. I just finished Black Richard the other day. Bless his heart, and loved it. Well, thank you. I was told this at a writer's workshop. It's like polishing a car. You can polish it, and if you do it long enough, you'll wear a hole in the metal. Then where will you be? Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Get it out of your hands, leave it alone.
You gotta push that baby out of the nest.
I really start questioning things beyond 3 passes. I mean, beyond 3 passes, what are you doing? You know? So
you're hanging on to it because you're afraid of what the world is going to say when you release it.
You want someone to see it. Yeah.
I love this.
That's good, yeah.
I love it. That's hilarious. Well, honey, it's almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, yep.
And for those who come in on the replay crew, we absolutely love you. Y'all, I have posted links. I will do it in the description when this is done. I will add a link to Terry's author page, to his website, all that good jazz, and just follow him, especially on Instagram. You're just hilarious. I love
Twitter's
your
where I
posts.
get angriest. Twitter's where
Yes, I don't do Twitter. Twitter is the cesspool of the flipping universe.
Yeah.
And I still
But
have.
Let's be friends. I connect with everybody because I'm always yapping about something. So
Yes, and there's probably not a subject he can't discuss. So
or I can lie
anyway.
about it. so
I can bullshit my way through anything, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm an author. I can do that. I lie for a living. I make up lies. That's what I do all day long. So anyway, Terry, thank you so much for being here, honey.
Thank you, friend.
I really appreciate it. And I've got to find it. So I don't know if we'll be here Friday night. Again, I'm going to be on the road Friday night, heading to Delaware. I'll probably be passed out in a hotel somewhere, not because I'm drunk, but because I'm exhausted. And chances are I will have to drive most of the way because my husband drives me crazy when he's driving. But my plan is for the first half of the journey is to have my dad up in the front seat with Kevin, and I'm in the back seat with my noise-canceling headphones riding away. So that is my goal. But if I could do a quick live Friday night, I will. Terry's just awesome. You all have to go follow him. Follow his Facebook page, his Instagram, his Twitter. Follow him at Amazon. He's got a newsletter. I have signed up for your newsletter. And he's just a phenomenal author. And seriously, you are going to love all of his stuff. It doesn't matter what he writes. It's good. That's just how I feel about it.
I'll do my best to live up to it.
Well, I don't blow sunshine up anybody's skirt. And you got to be pretty special to be on the show with me. So, yeah, I don't blow sunshine up anybody's skirt. Anyway, thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. We're going to all go stalk him on social media now. Yes, stalk him. Aurora says, thank you for the awesome tips. But anyway, I will, I don't know if I'll be here next Wednesday because I think we're coming home from Delaware that day. So I might not be on for a little while. But Terry, you are an absolute sweetheart. I love talking to you. I always learn something new whenever you and I talk on the phone or whatever. So every time. Yes. Anyway, everybody have an awesome week. Rate. If you can't finish the current book you're working on, toss it aside and start a new one. May your coffee cup never run dry. May your underwear not climb up the cracky oughts. And may your muse sing to you sweetly and beautifully. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks, Terry.
Bye-bye.